visits. So the first one was during the time that she recognized that she was pregnant and the request of the ultrasound was done. After that, you have to keep on asking what was done during the different testing, different visits. That's very important. If that patient is compliant with what? With the orders of her um, primary physician. Mhm. Okay. And then we go back to the results now. You have to interpret to me the results. Okay.
Uh, in third trimester, cardiography was done, CTG test, based on the
No, that was done during that admission. You interpret to me the results of the scan.
uh, second test. Second ultrasound test was done on December 16th. At 29 weeks age of gestation, and the estimated fetal weight was 1400 grams, and placenta is posterior and grade 1, and EDD was February 28.
Basing on that ultrasound, di ba? Based on your first trimester ultrasound, the EDD was March 8. Or let's say, and the second trimester scan was February 28. Do you
Yes.
see that there's a discrepancy in the sizing of that pregnancy? What can you conclude?
A
Hmm.
preterm labor.
No, it's not preterm labor. We're just basing on the ultrasound. Look at the EDD. EDD is what? That means
February.
that baby is what? Hmm. 8 days ahead, right?
8 days. 8 days. Yes.
Diba? It's like 1 week. 1 week ahead. It's bigger. The baby is bigger than the expected. You have to go back. You have to compute. If the ultrasound was done 12/16, December 16, basing on your LMP, you try to go back to your calendar. What is the expected AOG at that time of your patient?
Uh, 29 weeks. 29.
No.
Yes.
Hmm. You always, you know what? Your ano is very ano, very important itong slide mo, dear. Ano, that's why I have to keep on
19.
pointing this one to you. 9 weeks, no.
8 weeks.
You compute what is the age of the pregnancy at 12/16/2024, basing on your LMP.
18 weeks, doctor.
Hmm?
18 weeks age of gestation.
No,
25 weeks doc.
No.
no. 25 weeks?
Doc, 29 weeks and a half. So almost 30 weeks.
Almost. No, 'di
30
ba?
weeks.
Kasi you always have to compare the present age of gestation with the biometric or the ultrasound. Kasi that's one way of gauging if the weight of the baby is lagging or it is growing so much ahead compared to the expected, right? This our patient is gravid, no? So we have to know if the size of the baby is okay or not. That's why during December 16, 2024, you have to go back. So what is the age of gestation during that time? The actual age of gestation of that patient? Ano dapat 'yon? If the LMP was June 12. What?
3 days.
Ha? 26 weeks and 26 weeks and 4 days. Sure? 26 weeks and 4 days. And the size of the baby based on ultrasound is 29 weeks. So what can you conclude? The baby is no, not LMP. The size of the baby is what? What? Oh. So the size of the baby is what? Almost 3 weeks,
Bigger.
3 weeks ahead. Yeah. 3 weeks bigger than the expected. So what will you try to check if your baby is bigger than what is expected? What? Fetal? Probably there's a suspicion of what? In a dating or what? What else? It's very common for Asians. Yeah, what is the cause of your large for age of gestation? LGA. Yes, yes. What are the conditions pertaining to will lead to LGA? Number one.
Nulliparity.
No, what condition? Medical condition. It's diabetes. Okay? Yeah. Okay? So you have to, for that reason, you have to investigate. So you have to ask, what will you ask your patient then?
If she have a history of diabetes, or if she was diagnosed with DM during pregnancy. Pero po,
What
doc,
else? What?
she
She
said
is?
no.
She said
She said
no. And what else are you going to ask her?
Doc, we can ask for weight gain, and our patient already had weight gain from 45 to 59 kilos.
From the time from what?
Yeah,
From the,
before pregnancy to up to now, like it's till 32 weeks.
yes.
but
So
doc,
there's, mm,
isn't weight gain pertinent possibly in pregnant women? Do we consider
mm, is there an entry in your ROS? Anan? Nah, I think there's none. Well, anyway, you have to ask. You have to, it's part of your PE, your BMI. And what else did you ask? But this is a is a primary gravid.
this is a first pregnancy.
Yeah. So you have to ask also what? The family history. Family history, the diet of your patient, and everything. Yeah, yeah. Remember, all Asians are high risk of gestational diabetes. That's why I'm very particular with the diagnostic tests um, that were requested during the first trimester, because now the pyramid of care is now wider at the first trimester compared to the last trimester. So all tests should be done during the first trimester. That's why I have to inculcate it to you that our patients during the first trimester should have more visits compared to the latter part, because that's a time that we were able to diagnose if there's a problem that will arise and will be later on the cause of the pregnancy problem at the latter part of pregnancy. Okay. So I keep on asking if what are the tests that were requested during the first trimester. Because nowadays, especially for Asian women, we ask for a baseline FBS or fasting blood sugar. Okay. That's a time that we assess if that patient is ours, it has gestational diabetes or an overt diabetes that was undiagnosed. Okay? Especially there's kind of the second trimester. There's what, like 2 to 3 weeks growth problem, or 2 to 3 weeks is a like a suspicion of fetal ovary. Okay?
Doc, from her chemistry test, her random blood sugar is 84.
Yeah, but you see, RBS is not actually it's not
Accurate.
a confirmatory. That's why I do an FBS. Okay, later I'll go back there. Then after that, so this time alone, they should have tested her for presence of a for gestational DM, but it was not requested, or it's not requested, or you failed to ask her if the test was requested or not. Okay, so you have to correlate the age of gestation is really very important. No, if that patient of yours is and her baby is well healthy during the time that your patient came into you. Okay, so after that, this was just the only thing done during this time, 27 to 27 weeks. Jyotish, was there any requests or any advice given to this patient? Did you ask her?
No, doctor. There is no other test done in December. All other blood test and urine analysis were done on third trimester. No other tests were done in second
So
trimester.
after this second ultrasound, this was the third prenatal checkup, right?
Yes, doctor.
And then after that, the patient came in what? Patient was admitted January 16. You go back to the previous slide. Hospital admission January 16 to January 22.
Yes po, Doc.
Which hospital was she admitted to?
R1MC.
R1MC po, Doc.
This is the admission already that you saw her, or this is a different admission?
This was her first admission po, Doc, at R1MC.
This is the time that you saw her already.
Opo, Doc.
So it should not be part of your prenatal history, Jyotish. Because this data is considered part of the admission already.
Okay.
Okay? So you have to remove that there. Okay? Hmm. Tapos, and then in the next slide, hmm, remove that. Okay, next slide. So the yung ultrasound number 3 and the CTG blood test should be part of the management for her admission. So it should not be part of this slide also. Okay? Hmm. So that will be presented later. Okay, sige. Next slide. That one also. Ah, so we'll be presenting the course in the ward of this patient.
Doc, later po sa,
You later
yung,
na. So you present this slide also to me later, not now. Okay?
okay.
Okay. So let me see the August 8. Let me see your your ultrasound. Down, down. Mm, okay. December 16. Okay, next. Okay, he's gonna report on the menstrual and gynae history.
Her menarche was 12-year-old, and the period interval was regular. Duration was 4 to 6 days. She used 2 to 3 pads per day, and there were no sign and symptoms. And gynecological history is uh, quit, her first coitus history was at 21-year-old. Her boyfriend is only the sexual partner, and family planning method was none, and no pap smear test was done.
Jayashree. You repeat again. How did you present your menstrual history?
Her menarche was at 12-year-old. Her period interval was regular, and
Okay,
duration of
I'll
the
teach you how
periods
to
were.
present this one, Jayashree. This is how you say it. No? So patient had her menarche at 12 years old with regular intervals lasting for 4 to 6 days, consuming 2 to 3 pads per day without complaints of what? Dysmenorrhea.
Yeah,
Okay?
okay. Okay, doc.
That's how you see it. So it's like you're saying it very systematic way, as if you're not just reading your slide. Okay,
Okay, doc.
that's how you say it. And how about your gynecologic history? You say it
Her,
like this: your
okay.
first sexual or sexual debut was at 21, age 21, with
With one
single,
sexual
one
partner.
one sexual partner. That
And
no
no
family
family
planning.
planning, and none.
Yeah,
There was no pap smear
no.
test was
Yeah.
done.
Okay. Next.
Coming to obstetric history, OB score G1 PO, eh, last menstrual period June 5 to 2024, age of gestation 32 1 by 7 weeks, EDD March 12, 2025.
Hmm.
Past medical history. She was not allergic to any medications and allergic to food or shrimps, causing skin rashes. And there is no associated history of chronic illnesses like hypertension, diabetes, or asthma, cancer, or TB.
Hmm. Okay.
Family history. The patient is actually the third of four siblings, all who are female and good in health. Actually, the patient mother has an hypertension on the mother's side, but the patient is unaware of what her mother takes for hypertension, and there are no other heredofamilial illness such as pulmonary tuberculosis, diabetes, stroke, cancer, and asthma, congenital abnormalities.
You also include in your family history if there is history of twins. Okay, in either side on this index pregnant or for the side of the patient and also for the side of the partner. Okay,
Okay.
because the multiples incidence of multiples is very common for those who have um, family history or yeah family history. Okay, for pregnant patients. So there was no history of diabetes in the family.
No, no product.
No. Okay. For hypertension, so you weren't able to call her if her mom during the time that the mom was pregnant with her, if she had history of hypertension during the time that she got pregnant with her.
Sorry, product. We are not actually able to ask the.
Hmm?
Doc, she says she doesn't know po, Doc.
She doesn't know. Okay.
Yes po, Doc.
Okay. Next. Next slide.
Personal and social history. The patient is a nursing graduate from Advanika City, and she is currently unemployed. She has a sedentary lifestyle with no regular exercise. She eats 3 meals a day and regularly takes multivitamins. And she is non-alcoholic beverage drinker and non-smoker.
Okay.
Next.
For review of system, the skin is unremarkable. The head and neck is unremarkable. Eyes, ears, nose, and mouth is unremarkable. And for breast, she have tenderness. Next slide. The respiratory, cardiovascular, gastrointestinal, and renal systems are unremarkable and normal. The gynecological is unremarkable, musculoskeleton, hematological is unremarkable, endocrine nervous system, and psychiatric is also unremarkable and normal.
Hello, Polo. So we already talked about P, and as in the last presentation, we come to know that we have to calculate BMI on the basis of patient's last weight. So the height was 151 centimeter and the weight was 45 kilos. So according to that, the BMI is 19.7, which is actually normal.
So based on this, Mitali, so what will you tell her if her BMI is normal? What is expected weight gain? Mm.
Doc,
Her,
I really have no idea actually. Sorry, doc.
kasi di ba during the time that your patient, every time your patient comes into you, what do you usually get? You get what? What is your ano? The first thing that you get from your patient when your patient comes in for prenatal checkup.
Doc will ask for CBC, ultrasound,
No,
all
no,
those.
no, no. What do you do to your patient?
Vitals po, Doc.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
what are your vital signs? Yeah, Mitali. What are
we
you trying to get?
will try to get her vitals.
What are the components of your vital signs?
Doc, temperature, respiratory rate, BP, SpO2, height, weight, BMI.
Na every time the patient comes into you, that's your height is only taken at the first consult, right? Because it doesn't
Yes.
change. Yeah. So what changes? So aside from your TEP, respiratory rate, your BP, PR, what do you get?
What we get is doc just weight. Weight is
No, the again ba? What did you get, Mitali?
doc
The
will get like vitals and weight change.
you did the change in weight. So now you have this is should be part of your prenatal checkup. You base it on your BMI. If the BMI is normal, usually on the second trimester, you tell her that this is just you're limited to this weight gain per week, right? So
Yes.
for our patient, for this index patient, the BMI was normal. So you tell your patient to what? You're expected to gain this much every week.
Oh.
How many pounds?
Doc can say like 1 5 5 or 8 pounds something.
Per week? You sure, Mitali?
No, no, not in a week. Like doc in
Per week.
first trimester.
4 to 0.5 kg per week.
Per week po, Doc,
No.
0.5 po, Doc, to 2 kg.
No, oh no, but Sahil, no, you try to orient me. Sahil is your last name, Khalifa is your first name, or the other way? Okay, Khalifa. Khalifa, right? Khalifa, how many pounds is she expected to gain per week during the second trimester? Huh? Around what? How much? 1 to 2 pounds.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah. Okay. For patients who are overweight, like 0.5 per, yeah. What? Moderate. What? For overweight or obese, what will you tell your patients? This is how much you can weight. You gain weight. How much is your little bit?
2 pounds po, Doc, per week.
No, 2 pounds is too much for overweight. Metal, Takur.
Doc,
Hmm?
maybe point 0.5 or 1.
Just 0.5.
0.5.
Okay? 0.5. That's why you have very important is your BMI in how you will be advising your patient. Okay?
Yes po, Doc.
Kasi because that's how you will be advising your patient. Okay. With
Yes.
that, next.
Next slide, please. So, in systemic findings, we already saw that everything was unremarkable and normal, but we were not able to do the genitalia assessment. So, this time when we visited last time, we got the information, and one of our group member, like Victoria Tava, she's the one who did IE, and she got
Okay. What
information.
was the findings at that time?
The findings works. Can you please show me the next slide, please? Yeah. So on internal examination, we saw that the cervix was 4
Wait lang,
centimeters
Takur, wait lang. Before you do the internal examination, what did I tell you?
to do the external examination, doc.
Yes. So, external examination. So, the chronology of your data. Ano? So, the normal external genitalia and the IE examination term should be placed after. Okay?
Yes, po, doc.
You modify that.
Yes,
So,
po.
in inspection, external genitalia was what?
Doc, we'll see. Firstly, we'll ask patient to, like, in position, lithotomy position. We'll do the inspection. Then we'll see the labia majora and labia minora and all.
Yeah.
Then we'll
What
look
can
for
you
the
say?
cycles.
What can you say about the external genitalia?
Sorry, po, doc.
What can you say? What is stated in the chart?
In the chart about the internal examination, po, doc.
No, how will you report it? It's like this. On on the examination of the genitalia, the external genitalia is grossly normal looking.
Oh,
And
okay.
then, what was done next? Is it the internal examination or what is supposed to be done before the internal examination?
External po, Doc.
A, mm, the chronology of your data is not correct. Mm.
Yeah,
Diba? You
doc.
do inspection after that, especially for OB patients. Before you poke that finger there inside, you should expect inspection, then you do your what?
After inspection, we will look for the, like, um, a vaginal.
Yeah, it's part of the inspection already. Yeah, yeah, it's part of your inspection. Yeah, no, no, cervical length later. That's the time that you do that in when you're doing your internal examination already. So after inspection, it's stated there already. What do you do next?
Doc,
Check
we
if
Mm.
there's any fluid.
How do you do that, Kansagara?
we
How do you check if there's about the fluid? It's there now. Stated there already. After inspection,
Speculum
what's next?
examination.
By
Oh, you
visual
should
speculum.
examination. On a speculative examination, what was noted?
Doc, there
No
was
amniotic fluid.
No pooling of fluid. So what was seen?
quarterly discharge, Doc.
The discharge. What's the consistency? What's the appearance of the discharge?
It was
Mucoid, mucoid appearance potok.
Mucoid vaginal discharge.
mm-hmm.
Yes, potok.
No, no odor.
Nothing.
Odorless potok.
Oh, it should be part of the of your presentation, ha. So, and you try to avoid giving abbreviations which are not internationally accepted. Like SE, what's the SE? Side effect? What's that? Hmm. Okay. So, in second examination, there was no pooling of amniotic of not amniotic fluid, no pooling of watery vaginal discharge, presence of mucoid discharge, odorless. Okay. And what
Yeah.
else can you see in the speculum exam?
What else can we see?
Yeah. Have you tried speculum examination already
No,
in the
Doc.
OPD? But in our last discussion, di ba, I tried to reiterate it to you what you'll be seeing during the speculum exam.
Yes, Doc. You
Mm,
said like we have to go and use that speculum.
mm. You try to make your imagination work. You try to put the speculum. After that, you try to assess if there's pooling of fluid. There's none. Then you see that there's mucoid discharge. After the discharge, what can you see beyond that? It's the what? Mm,
This is
Cervix.
perfect potok.
the cervix. So what is the supposedly the for pregnant patients, what's the appearance of your cervix?
Bluish.
Blue bag.
Bluish.
Mm.
Okay. So that should be part of your slide of your PE of the genitalia. Okay. And then after doing the speculum examination, what was done?
We'll collect some samples if we see like there is any abnormal finding.
Yeah, that's right. And after doing that, what's the next thing that should be done?
We send it to the pathology lab to do gram stain smell.
Yes, Doc.
And yes, yeah, later. And after that, and they did on this slide, you said inspection, speculum, and they did an IE, an internal examination. Okay.
Yes,
So when they did an IE, the cervix was what?
Doc. The cervix was 4 centimeter dilated,
Mm. And
and there was a beginning of effacement, like the cervix is thinning for delivery.
station
Then
minus
we
three
saw that
membranes. See, you see, there's the cervix during IE was 4 cms. So in speculum examination, with that dilatation of the cervix, you can see that already. So on speculum exam, the cervix is open, bluish in color. On IE, on examination, the cervix was dilated to 4 cms and with 50% effacement. And what? Before they see, before they assess the presentation, what can be felt? Before you go into the presentation, the cervix, what can you palpate? Palpate for
Adnexa.
no no no
Pelvis, the,
the
sorry,
what?
pelvis grip.
No. The assessment for the intactness of the membrane should be assessed first before the presentation. So it should be stated as this, like this. So on internal examination, the cervix is soft, midline position, dilated to 4 cms, 50% efface, intact bag of water, which shows cephalic presentation, station -3. Because before you try to assess for the presentation, you'll be able to assess if the membranes are intact or not, right?
Yes, po, Doc.
Yeah. So again, the the chronology you have to modify. Okay?
Yes,
You see,
po.
it's how you try to assess and how you will assess things, no? How will you be able to do if you were able to assess immediately the presentation? That means the membranes is already what? Ruptured, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. See? The chronology of how you examine that. So try to fix it. Okay?
Yes, po, Doc.
Mm. So again, next, what happened?
Then the position was cephalic means was and the it was in like station -3. It means the baby's head was still high in the pelvis, like it was not engaged yet.
But this patient is now in,
Uh,
basing on the dilatation of the cervix, what?
it was in
Patient now is in what? In preterm labor, right? Yes.
preterm.
Okay. So next,
The membrane was intact, like the amniotic sac was not ruptured.
what's that? Is still intact. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
So, Doc, for the neurological examination, it was called remarkable.
GCS 15. Okay.
So,
What's OB assessment? Not OB assessment. This should be part of your PE, right?
Yes, Doc. It was
Mm.
supposed to be under abdomen.
It should be part of your PE.
Yes, Doc. But the form we had, it was like there's a separate topic.
No. You, because you keep on going back, going back. It should be part of your PE already.
Oh, okay,
Okay.
Doc.
Okay.
Yes, Doc.
Now you tell me, no. So, who's gonna report that? The abdominal findings. Go back.
Doc, it was me only.
You, okay. Sige, you
Yes.
report it. It's not
Yes,
OB assessment. It's part of your physical exam.
oh,
Okay, basta it's parang, yeah. We're trying to report it, you say it like that, and then, uh,
yes,
after
Doc.
that, the pertinent physical examination revealed what? Or kaya focusing or centering on the abdomen, which showed what? Globular. Usually that's how we term that for patients who have ascites. So usually what we determine that as gravid abdomen, with a fundic height of 26
26 and
centimeters, fetal heart tones of
140.
145 beats per minute. Yeah. On Leopold's maneuver, mm, data po.
Yes, doc. For LM1, soft binodular mass which occupying the fundus. Then for LM2, convex mass with bony prominence occupies the left maternal side, and multiple small nodular masses are felt on the right maternal side. For LM3, we see that there was some ballotable mass, and for LM4, we saw that uh, examining hands are converged.
Mm.
That was about Leopold's maneuver. For auscultation, we see like there was no friction drop or any brute sound were heard. And palpation, we didn't note any tenderness.
Okay. So based on that finding, the presentation of your baby is
Cephalic podo.
yes, on basing on your fundic height. Is your fundic height compatible with the aging of the patient?
Mm.
26 cms. Our patient is how many what is the aging of our pregnancy during the time of assessment?
Dog, it was 32 weeks.
32 weeks. Do you think it's compatible? Um, Priyanka. Let Priyanka answer.
Yes,
Priyanka, do you think the fundic height is compatible with the age of gestation?
Actually, no.
yes, doc.
Hmm? Priyanka,
Yes, doc.
the fundic height is 26 centimeters. The age of pregnancy now is 32 weeks. Do you think
Yes,
it's correct? Yes or no?
yes,
Does
doc.
it compatible? Yes or no?
It's compatible, doc.
It's compatible. When do you think is the time when do you think is the fundic height compatible with the age of gestation? At what age of gestation does it coincide with the AOG, the fundic height? Priyanka,
20 weeks, doc.
20 weeks. At 20 weeks, the fundic height should be compatible with the AOG. Now,
Okay.
our fundic height is, the age of gestation is 32 weeks, and the fundic height is 26. Do you think it's compatible? Yes or no? Compatible? Yes or no?
Yes, doc.
Still yes. What do
It,
you think?
I think it should around 30 to 34, doc.
30 to 32. But now the food decay is 26. So what can you conclude?
I think it's not compatible, doc.
It's not compatible. So what can you conclude?
Uh, Funded height should be uh, for 32 weeks. It should be 30 to 34 centimeters.
This 30 to 32. So what can you conclude now? Probably this page, you have to rule out in your diagnosis. Mm. Who knows? Sa Sidar.
Doc,
Ana.
So the patient,
Mm?
mm.
Oligo, yes, probably. But based on the, oh what?
Fetal growth restriction,
You
Doc.
have to rule out for fetal growth restriction. So unless your examination is incorrect, right? Okay.
Yes, so doc.
So you have to rule out what? Growth restriction
Mhm.
or a possible leak. But the leak was not noted on your examining on your speculum examination, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So based on the abdominal findings, your fundic height is uh, what? Small.
20.
So it should be part of the so it should be reflected on your diagnosis, ha?
Mm.
Okay? Sige, next. Wait lang. Excuse me. You said that there's no bloody discharge, but on examination there was bloody show. There was bloody show in the which show. That's one on your speculum exam.
Yes, po. It was there according to the report we get.
Mm, the data that you got. But
Yes. Okay.
the type of discharge that she complained of was what? Just mucoid,
Right.
no
Yes, po.
color, no brownish discharge like that,
Nothing.
pinkish, red, none.
No.
So this was just noted on the examination of the genitalia.
Yes,
Okay,
po.
okay. And then normotests. Khalifa, wait lang. Do you think the speculum examination should be included there also? It's very pertinent also. Kasi when your patient comes into you with a vaginal discharge, you have to rule out if that patient is having what? Um, a ruptured bag, or just plain vaginitis, or just mucoid discharge. So in your PE, another objective data is your speculum exam. So it should be included in the as part of your objective data. Okay. Okay. And then what else? Mm, wait lang. Before you present this one, are you going to present the data or the management that was done during the time that she was admitted? So parang you're trying the data that you'll be presenting now from yung mga diagnostics should be not be part of of this slide. Okay. Kasi we just dealing first with your what? Your clinical findings, your physical findings first before the management. Okay? so that you could come up with a diagnosis, no? Go back. Based on your salient features, subjective and objective data, what is your diagnosis now? Yeah. Do that include the diagnostics that were done after you've done your clinical assessment? Okay? This is how you try to learn based on your history taking and your doing your PE. Okay, so based on that one, admitting diagnosis, what is your impression? In preterm labor. Okay. And then, mm, mm, wait lang, Khalifa. What is the criteria when you say that your patient is in labor or not? What is the criteria? Mm. Di ba there's a criteria when you say that this patient is in preterm labor or is just in false labor? Do you know the criteria? How many, what is the quality of the contractions when you say that this patient is in preterm labor or not? Mm. Di ba, when you try to establish this patient is in preterm labor, yes, we say that the aging is term and the cervical dilatation, what? What is the minimum change? Minimum dilatation that this patient is in preterm labor. Mm, not 1 to 2. What is the cutoff? No? What? Mm?
3 cm, Doc.
2 to 3 cms. So preterm aging, dilatation minimum 2 to 3 cms with regular contractions. So that means that patient is now in preterm labor and is at risk of what? Delivering anytime. So the differential diagnosis, di ba I told you there should be two separate tables? If there's contraction, what are your differentials? It should be what? Preterm labor against what? What is other condition that is you're trying to ano?
Hypogastric,
Hmm? What?
hypogastric, Doc.
Oh, what else will you ano? That will cause contractions? Hmm. What should be part of your differential diagnosis, Khalifa? I think it's part of your table last time. That's for the discharge, right? What else? Abruptio placenta. Yeah, but it should be part of your differential diagnosis, right? With labor versus abruptio placenta. When you say that it's abruptio placenta, how did you say that it's not? It is been ruled out because of what? What reason?
Because there's no vaginal bleeding, Doc.
Hmm?
No.
No. Tetany. Yeah. What is tetany or hyperstimulated uterus? What is too much contractions? What is every what? When we say it's regular contraction, that means there's how many minutes? Every mm, every regular contractions occurs every 2 to 3 minutes, right? So when we say tetanic contractions or hyperstimulation, so what is the frequency? Every
4 in 20 minutes now.
no tetanic
Every 1 minute.
hyperstimulated every 1 to 2 minutes. Okay? Okay, so that has been ruled out because this patient is having contractions what every just every 5 minutes. Okay, when you try to do your differential diagnosis for the discharge, what are your differentials? Not yet chorioamnionitis. So first you have to rule out if this is a ruptured bag. So yeah, so it's yeah, right. So you have to assess if there's premature rupture of membranes or what, or any form of your vaginitis. Okay. Yes, again, UTI could be part of your, but UTI could lead to your preterm labor. No? Anyway. So that again, that's why I told you, right? You have to give me, there should be two sets of your differentials. The one causing your contractions and the one the differentials for your discharge. Okay, modify. Next. Who's gonna report on the management?
Uh, yes, po, Doc. So, Doc, for her first day in the war, her BB was 110/80. Her uh, PR was 84. Respiratory rate. Her pulse rate was 84. Her respiratory rate was 20. Temperature was 36.1. So,
So when
her
you try to tell me that, when you try to give me an interpretation already. So so this is day one already, not on admission. On
mm,
admission.
yes, po, Doc.
So admission was admission. But the temperature admission was 37.
No, Doc. Her first day in the war.
So on the admission, what was done?
420.
Hmm. Di ba? So this was upon admission.
Doc, this is upon admission po, Doc.
Why is the vital signs different from the admitting vital signs?
No, Doc, the vital signs previous day was the one we took when doing our PE.
During your time of PE. So this was, so vital signs then was stable. Patient was
Yes,
afebrile, right?
yes
Okay.
po, Doc.
Okay. So this what was done?
So when she was admitted, they did her lab, her CBC, her blood typing, her urinalysis, or VDRL, or HB. They also did HIV test. They did the speculum exam, which they sent for gram stain, and the plan was the gram stain, which they did, and they gave her the dexamethasone, which will complete 2 doses. Then the toxiloxis, they gave her the nefidepam, which is to um
Mm.
which is to prevent because the patient is 32 weeks, which is to prevent preterm labor.
Preterm
So
delivery.
preterm,
Okay.
yeah, labor po. Then
Mm.
they gave her the progesterone 200 milligrams and the bio.
The progesterone, how did they give it? They gave it how? In what route? Per
Via
oral? Yeah, twice a day. In what route? Per oral, per vagina. There are two ways on how you give your progesterone. You could give it per vagina or per oral. So that should be included in the orders. Okay?
okay.
With the course in the ward, you don't have to put the in the yeah, yung finding of your abdominal finding. Why is it there? Mm. Kasi that was
Okay.
listed already on your presentation during the physical examination, right? So you don't have to
Yes.
put that there.
Okay, doc.
Okay. And then what were the results?
Okay. Then she got the result on day 2. Next slide, please.
Yes.
So her CBC 15.8, HB was 13.8. So her platelet was 304. Her urinalysis positive for urine, ketoacidosis, RBC was 30, her pulse was 80, and bacterial cells was few. So her UA was positively show signs of UTI, and the speculum exam shows the gram stain shows signs of bacterial vaginalysis.
So what was the impression during this time? What is your working diagnosis?
Uh, U, UTI po, doc, and BV.
Mm. Stated there. So impression at this time was Gravida 1 para 0. You say it in full, Victoria. So based on the labs, impression at this time was Gravida
Based on
1.
the lab, based on the lab, her diagnosis was Graphida 1, para 0, pregnancy uterine 32 weeks, 2, 2 days, age of gestation by LMP cephalic, in preterm labor, UTI, infection, and bacterial vaginosis.
Can you open all of your cameras so that I can see you? Yeah. And then what else?
So from there, they continue her preterm prenatal meds, which were calcium, ions, multivitamins, and they continue the monitoring of the vital signs,
Mm.
and they continue the nefitipan, and the medicine they gave her from the first day, the progesterone. They continue, and they decided now, since it's positive for UTI, they gave her a medicine, uh, fosfomycin, and they started to treat her for metronidazole for the bacterial vaginosis, which is 500 mg tap or Botox for 7 days.
Didn't show you the tracing for the non-stress test? No.
No po, Doc.
Diba you have the result of the non-stress test during the time that you're presenting the prenatal visit, Kesu?
Kasi po, Doc, that time when we went back, it was already on computer.
Yeah, pero Kesu, what's the result at that time?
No.
You reported it's part of your slide before in your prenatal care. Prenatal. Mm. So CTG showed
No, no,
yeah,
no more, no contraction.
mild to moderate contractions only.
First CTG results were preterm labor. So the
This was
medical
the baseline scan. Yeah, baseline tracing.
and second it was normal
Because
based
that's
on
the time that they started with tocolitis already, nifedipine, right? And progesterone.
yes
Kasi
doctor.
po, kasi po, Doc, on her first day, mild to moderate contraction lasting
Yeah.
67 every 5 minutes.
Yeah,
But on her second day,
it improved.
wala, opo, Doc, wala na po, Doc.
So that means, yeah, the tocolytics work, right?
Opo.
Mm. And based on your blood test, di ba I told you to check on your RBC indices? Did you check on it? The
Yes po.
MCV of this patient. Di ba I told you to read on it? This is very common nga, di ba? Also, sa MCV of our patient was, did you try to check on it? Do you have a copy of your CBC?
The one at region 1 po, Doc.
The patient, of your patient. Do you have a copy of that?
At
None.
region 1, wala po, Doc.
Walang ganon. Okay. So again, what's the cutoff when you try to suspect for a problem in the hemoglobin molecule? What's the cutoff for MCV?
It should not be greater than 90.
No.
Wait, Doc.
I'll call again. Who knows the answer? 80 to 100. When you try to see your MCV less than 80 with a normal hemoglobin or hematocrit, what will you try to work out this patient for?
Anemia po, Doc.
Yeah, anemia of what origin?
It depends po, Doc. It can be iron deficiency.
Iron deficiency anemia, rule out.
A plat. No, she's
No.
not bleeding. She's not having complete. No.
Rule out hemoglobinopathy such as your what? It's very common for us Asians. What? Thalassemia, right? Diba I tried to tell you that before? So you have to rule out because it's very common for us. Your thalassemia, no? And for these patients with, even though if we have like a normal hemoglobin with an MCV less than 80 femtoliters, you have to try to assess what? Serum, for serum, ferritin or serum iron. Yeah. So that we'll know if this patient is having iron deficiency with or without anemia with or without iron deficiency or hemoglobinopathy such as your thalassemia. Because if that is so, sometimes we're overloading our patients with iron supplements. So it is very harmful for patients also if there's iron overload.
Mm.
Okay. So if you get this, again, I'm gonna tell you this one. If you get your CBC or you look for a laboratory that will be showing you your CBC values with RBC indices, you try to look for MCD because it's very common for us, no, for us Asians. Okay, with the given CBC, CBC was what? CBC was Kesu. What's your interpretation of the CBC?
For me, CBC was okay, doc,
CBC was
because
okay.
WBC is 15, hemoglobin is 13, which is normal for pregnant women. Then
WBC
the
are normal.
WBC 15.
WBC is elevated, doc.
It's high, doc. But doc,
So
according
what is
to
mm,
mm,
There's a possible infection or inflammation.
according to what, Victoria?
kasi doc, sa mostly yung normal result for the normal value for pregnant women is mostly higher than normal
So what
people.
is the highest range? Hmm. Hmm? What? But you have to look for what? The if there's predominance of your neutrophils like that. Because we're dealing with a patient with preterm labor. Usually the number one cause of preterm labor is still what? Still
Infection.
infection. Okay? You have to be very wise. Sometimes it's normal for patients who are in labor, no? The WBC will be slightly elevated. But you have to check on if there's predominance of your neutrophils or not, because you have to rule out presence of your triple I's or any chorioamnitis or such. Because we're not yet sure if there's a leak, or sometimes if there's sepsis, because your patient is having UTI. Okay? Mm. So the other testing, your hepatitis, your syphilis is normal.
No,
Okay.
non-reactive po, doc.
Okay. So what was the next thing that was done to this patient? You go back to the course in the ward.
Day 3 po, doc.
Mm. Day 3 na. Ano yung day 2 mo?
Day
Okay. Sige, next. Third day.
Day 3 dog Jeevan Pacer pregnancy uterine 32 weeks 3 days. AOG by LMP, cephalic in preterm labor, urinary tract infection treated, bacterial vaginosis, ongoing treatment. The blood pressure was 110 by 70, the pulse rate was 89, and the RR was 19, and the temperature was 36.5. The fundic height was 26, the fetal heart rate was 154, IE cervix 4 centimeters by B cephalic station -3, intact membrane no show, NST baseline FST 130 to 135 with acceleration, no deceleration, normal variability and no contraction and normal test. The plan was to continue the prenatal medicines, calcium 1 tablet by BID, FESO for 1 tablet oral, and MV plus DHA 1 tablet, MVSQ for FHTQ2, CTG daily, and continue the preterm medicines like nifedipine 10 mg tablet 2 times, progesterone 200 mg per RM, and dexamethasone was completed on the 18th. CBR without BRPS, with hypergastric pain, decreased fetal movement, and continued urinary tract infection medicine like phosphomycin 3G HD given, follow-up urine culture, bacterial vaginosis, it was continued metronidazole 500 mg tablet for up to 7 days.
Wait lang po pala, Patty. How did you know that the UTI was treated already? What was the testing done?
Mhm.
Was there a repeat urinalysis, yes or no?
Yeah, as doctor.
Yes, was there? Where is it? It's not there.
Mm?
And phosphomycin, how will you continue it? It was given only single dose. So what will you continue? And you said it's treated already, the UTI. What will you continue? Single dose. So there's no testing of that your treatment was effective until you showed me if there was a repeat urinalysis done. Okay? That's
Yes,
how
doc.
you test for cure if there's a repeat testing. Okay? Usually, when is the best time to do a repeat urinalysis after you give your treatment?
After 3 days, doc.
Usually after 1 week.
A week.
Yeah. Okay? So, you cannot just conclude that the UTI was treated already because there was no test of response because there was no repeat testing yet. Okay?
Okay.
So during this time, that means that your preterm labor is what?
It's control, doc.
Yeah, it's controlled already. Okay, so it's completed. Okay. With dexamethasone, during this time of admission, was there any testing for sugar, for diabetes? Have you seen in the chart? Even in your history, in the prenatal checkups, there was no testing, right?
Wala po, doc.
So how do you now you tell me how do you test for gestational diabetes in pregnancy? Mm, who knows the answer? Upalapati, do you
H-
know? Mm.
HB1 AC, doc.
It's not the direct testing for pregnancy for pregnant women. What? HbA1c is just what? A reflection of Upalapati. Reflection of your glycemic levels in the past what?
6 months, doc.
No?
2 to 3 months, doc.
Yeah, 3 months usually. But there's a contention that in pregnancy it is shorter, 1 month. Okay? But in it's 3 months. So it's not a real reflection of your um it's not the testing for diabetes in pregnancy. So what is the test? Mm.
75 OGTT, doc.
Again, what is the test?
75 OGTT.
75 grams OGTT.
Oral glucose tolerance test.
Yes. So, ayan. So this was not requested, this was not done, right? So what is
Yes.
the effect of your dexamethasone? Mm. There was an ultrasound done. What was the ultrasound? It was done January 17th. So what was the
Huh?
ultrasound?
Doc,
Mm. Because it's the diagnostic test which is done on admission should be presented during the course in the ward. Okay, so what was the ultrasound done? No, no. Kesu. The third one. It's in the prenatal care. Where is that? I'll go back. It's in Kesu slide. Oh. So if you're going to give me your final report, no? Make it on the way how I taught you, the sequence and everything. Okay? Okay, let me see. Kesu, where's your report? What's the result of the ultrasound done on the second day of admission? That was your report? It's in in the prenatal care, prenatal checkup. Go back. Yeah. Forward. Yun. Single live intrauterine pregnancy, 34 weeks. Norma hydramnios 2-3. Mm. So there was no screening for diabetes. But during this time, the size of the baby was ahead, right? Mm.
yes, doc.
And what's the effect of dexamethasone?
Accelerate fetal lungs maturity,
Fetal
and
maturity. And what will happen
and
to your
also
sugar?
it also decreases the sugar level,
Decreases, increases.
increases doc.
It can increase. That's why we have to test your patient for presence of she has underlying what? Gestational diabetes or not. Because it could jack up the glycemic levels. So it could add more harm than cure. Okay? So a screening for gestational DM should have been done for this patient. Okay? So who was in charge of this patient? Let me know. Have you seen the chart? Who were the residents in charge? Victoria,
Yes,
who's
po,
the
doc.
resident in charge
I
of
think
this patient?
Dr. is po, doc.
Charisse? What's the name of this patient again?
Kathleen,
Huh? What's the full name of the patient? Yeah, patient name.
Kathleen Tayuan po.
Kathleen Tayuan. Okay.
Yung,
Sige.
yung attending physician is
Yes.
Margin
Kanilang.
Kanilan po, doc.
Yeah. And who's the resident?
Hindi ko alam po, doc.
What's the name? Huh? You don't know the name of after Dr. Kanina, what's the name of the resident? The last name?
Maria Lorizo.
Loren. Okay. Sige. I have to go. I have to check this patient. Okay. Then what else? What happened next?
Wala, doc.
Okay. What happened next? So the dexamethasone was completed already, and the preterm labor was somewhat controlled, and there was just completion of your medications. And on day 5, um, fetal testing showed what?
Mm,
Mm.
they
Mm. Who's gonna report on this? X.
Day 5, Dr. Jeevan Pijra pregnancy during 32 fifth day of AOG by LMP cephalic in preterm labor control, urinary tract
Mm.
infection treated,
Mm.
bacteria agenesis ongoing.
No, there's no form. Don't tell me it's treated because there's no ano. You don't have testing yet. Okay? Yeah.
Okay, Doc.
Mm.
The PP was 120 by 80, pulse rate was 90, respiratory
Mm.
rate was 20, and the temperature was 36.7. Fetal fundal height was 26, fetal heart rate was 135, IC cervix 33 to 4 centimeters, B cephalic station -3 intact, membrane no show, NST baseline FHT 130 to 135 with acceleration, no decelerations, normal variability, no contraction, and normal things. The plan
Oh,
was to
wait lang. Do. Based on this, what can you say? The patient, the preterm labor is what?
control doc.
Controlled, not progressing. So plan then was at that time was to what?
The plan is to continue prenatal meds.
Medicines and
Pets,
then what?
yes, doc, and to continue preterm labor medicine and urinary tract infection and
Hmm?
bacterial
No, no,
vaginosis.
you check on the preterm labor meds. Preterm labor meds was modified and was decreased in what?
Yes, decreased in nifedipine 10 milligrams per tab, doc. It was one tablet per day for
Yeah,
every
so
8 hours. Yeah.
that's how you try to report, no? So during this time that there's no progression of your preterm labor, so the plan was at that time was the modification of your tocolytic. So it was decreased already. The tocolytic agent dosing was decreased. Yan, pero what still for expectant management. Okay? Mm. At that time, no urine culture testing result was available.
No, doc. I think it's on day 6.
Day 6. Okay, next. Mm. On day 6,
Next.
next. Next daw, Toria. Next.
Next slide po.
Ah, during this time, what happened?
Uh,
Still the
prenatal,
same?
yes, prenatal medicine was stopped, doctor. It was,
Prenatal meds was stopped? Why?
yeah, yeah.
You just forgot to put it there? Mm. So during this time, there was no change. There's still no progression. Fetal-maternal status was stable. So meds continued, no additional, no change, no modification, right?
Yes.
So nothing happened. So again, on day 7, what happened?
Doc, the patient was discharged on day 6 po, Doc.
Day
Days.
6 discharge. I think that you told me that the urine culture was out already on day 6.
Uh, yes po, Doc. The urine culture was out.
What was the
There
result?
is positive for blood keto. Protein was negative, glucose was negative. Um, RBC neg, pulse reduced, bacteria negative.
Sa puzzles was this
And
the you repeat urinalysis, not the
yes,
urine culture. Urinalysis
urinalysis
was,
po, Doc.
oh, puzzles what that time was how much?
30.
30 from the baseline of what? 45? What's the ano, baseline? Was there really a decrease? What's the puzzles the level on the vision?
It was in decrease, Doc.
It was, so
It
it went
was in,
higher.
no, it remained the same.
So there was no change. There was no, so that means it was not treated, right? So it did not resolve the UTI. I think, yes, so there was an examination of your, ay, daan na pala. Okay. There was another testing that was done aside from the gram stain. They did a Ferning test. What was the result? Urinalysis 30, gram stain. Urine culture showed no growth. They did not do a Ferning test at that time.
Wala po,
Did you
Doc.
see that chart? Wala. Okay. So January 16, past cells was 80. And then on the repeat urinalysis on day 6 was 30. What did they do? But it's still high, right? It's still elevated.
Ay,
You
Doc,
think?
sorry pala. Yeah,
No.
30 yung RBC.
30 RBC. Ang past cells.
80.
So this was the urinalysis done on admission. Was there a repeat prior to discharge?
Wala.
Wala.
Wala po, Doc.
Wala.
Wala po, Doc.
So when they discharged the patient in the premise that there was no progression of labor, right? Right?
Yes po, Doc.
There was no repeat of your ultrasound also, right?
No, only one ultrasound was done.
Upon admission. Okay.
Kasi, Doc, kasi Doc, that time the chat was already discharged. So maybe they
Yeah,
did.
okay.
We're not sure.
Okay, sige. Okay. Okay, so upon discharge, what did they advise this patient?
To continue her meds and
Mm.
yeah, to continue the calcium, the iron, azoxapine, progesterone 200 milligram, to continue the metronidazole, the dexamethasone, complete bed rest.
Kasi it's completed already, so don't have to complete it. Yeah.
Yes,
And then,
Follow up to OPD on Jan 30, Doc.
January 30 for follow up.
that's January 30 is from the time that the patient was discharged was how many weeks? 2 weeks?
January 16. Yes, Doc. Which is today. Yes,
Today. So
Doc.
supposedly, she's about 34 weeks at this time.
Yes, Doc.
So what was the advice? Was there additional test that she has to do before she goes back to the OPD?
Not
There was
sure.
so there was no instruction. Just go there, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Sige. So but do you think what will you tell this patient basing on the test I mean, based on the impression, what should be followed up?
For me, I would say she should follow her up on her uh, urinalysis test because it's
Repeat
important.
analysis and what
Repeat
else?
urine.
What?
Um,
Blood sugar, Doc.
Actually, yes,
Um,
it should have been done. Yes, and what
her
else?
gram, her
The
gram stain.
grams, yeah. Have you tried to to what check on what is the how to diagnose bacterial vaginosis? What is the diagnostic testing? Is it really gram stain? Hmm. Sige, I'll go back to that. One of you should research on it, on how to diagnose bacterial vaginosis. Okay? Okay. And then next is on how do you manage, what is supposed to be the management? Okay, next. What's yun? Yun na ta? Ito na yung next slide, no? Ayan na yun. Where's your discussion? No more na. It's incorporated. Tuloy yan.
Ay,
Ay? Ah.
kasi sabi ni Doc, we should only do, yung Doc Nasis last time, we should only do yung case discussion daw.
Hmm.
That's
Bakit?
why, Doc.
Oh, di ba it should be part, you should tell me the, no, it's part of the case discussion. You try to, what is the management that should be done for preterm labor? The one that you've done last time. Di ba? You presented to me what should be done. Who presented you the management last time? Yeah.
Doc, I share screen po.
Mm. Di ba? Ayan. Ano, you were able to to know the answer already? What is the testing for bacterial vaginosis? Who knows the answer?
With
Hmm?
test Doc.
Whiff test.
Wet
What is the whiff test? Have you done that in
test.
your microbiome?
No Doc.
Not yet. But it's supposed to be a whiff test. In your whiff test, what will you see in your whiff test? Mm. Mm-mm. And then, mm. What will you smell?
Fishy odor,
Fishy,
Doc.
the fishy odor. Mm. Sometimes you also get what else aside from that? I will check. If you could check the pH, mm, the pH for the, yeah, is what? Hmm? What is the level of the pH? Greater than, yeah, greater
4.5.
4.5, and then what else? Yes, the quality of the discharge, and then what else? What can you see? So what are clue cells? Yes, okay. So that is how you try to assess for your um, presence of your vaginosis. Okay? Actually, a simple application for QH, there's a particular smell. Okay? Mm. Anyway, mm. So, okay, management. Who reported this one?
Mohan Tejan.
Mm. Monteja. Palapati.
Yes,
Mm.
yes, Doc. Um,
Mm.
his diagnostics for preterm bronch, history and physical examination, detailed medical history including previous pregnancy, infection, and any recent trauma, and physical examination including a speculum examination to assess for fluid leakage, and transvaginal ultrasound. Amniotic fluid test like nitrogen test checks the pH of vaginal fluid. Amniotic fluid is alkaline, turning the test paper blue. Finding test examine a sample of vaginal fluid under a microscope. Amniotic fluid crystallizes into a fan-like pattern. Amniotic test, a commercially available test that detects a protein specific to amniotic fluid.
But this was the time that you thought that the diagnosis at that time was preterm, pre-labor rupture of membranes, right? But it was
Yes.
not. It was just preterm labor. Okay? So again, yeah. So this is for your diagnosis for your pre-prom. So this is supposedly should be part actually of your differentials. Okay. Okay, sige. So, since we have a diagnosis already of your just a preterm labor, so sometimes the management, your discussion should be geared towards how to deal with your preterm labor. Okay? So, I'll be expecting from your reports, your management, your case discussion after presenting the management in the ward, you present to me the ideal management for your preterm labor. Okay? I'll be expecting that from each one of you. Okay. Ano pa? What else did you discuss last time for your management? It's just all PPROM, right? Pero again, ito, the our goal actually for preterm labor is this one, prolonged pregnancy. Okay. So this one, yes, tocolytics. Yeah, yes. Calcium channel blockers and yeah, magnesium sulfate actually, just to tell you, no, magnesium sulfate actually is just it's not a strong tocolytic. Yeah, but the the goal of which is to what? For neuroprotection. Usually, we give magnesium sulfate for those patients who are at least for delivery within 6 hours. Okay? Okay. Aside from, syempre, we give it for patients who are preeclamptic. Or for the management of preterm, it is what do you call this? Not a strong tocolytic, but it is for the neuroprotection. So the goal of preterm labor is this one, yeah, close monitoring, antibiotics, steroids, number one, and your yeah, tocolytics. But
Politics.
again, yeah, but again, the value of your ultrasound for these patients, the ultrasound done was what? Is it a BPS, a biophysical score, profile scoring? No, it's just a plain ultrasound. It's just a plain, yeah. Supposedly for we have to do a BPS, a biophysical profile scoring. You have to check if the baby's breathing, the movement, the fluid and everything. No. And the also what is the essence of doing a transvaginal ultrasound for patients presenting with preterm labor?
Cervical length.
Yeah, they try to assess if there's funneling or not, if there's progression or not, so that you will know if you can let the patient go home. Okay? Mm. Okay, next.
Advice for individuals with peritum
PPR.
pump to take rest and hydration and stay hydrated and maintain hygiene. Watch for the signs of infection. Monitor for fever, chills,
This is
bowel
ano
movement.
this is actually sorry, this is the premise of your PPROM. So erase na to. Sige, next. That's it. Okay. So all of you, your final report, you try to fix it in a way on how we discussed it. Okay? Can you do that? When will I be expecting your reports? Today is what? Next week. Konti na lang din, right? When? Today is Thursday. You still have your exams pa? All done, di ba? So that I could give your ano na, Thursday. Can you give it by Monday?
Po, Doc.
So you fix all your from the history and everything, and how it was managed, and the appropriate management for your preterm labor. So your management, your case discussion, the ideal management actually will be based on how you diagnose the patient. Okay? Do you have any questions?
Doc, individual output or per group po, Doc?
I want individual.
Okay,
Ah?
Doc.
Why keso? So that I know who understand or you did not understand. Okay? Did you learn anything? You did not learn anything. You learned so much. So you have to improve, ha? You have to improve on your history taking. Okay, you have to ask further questions and everything. Okay, you have to be, sorry, it's like makulit in our term. Okay? Okay. Okay, okay. So no more questions? We're done? Okay na. I think you improved a lot naman. But you just read on read. Okay? You know what? I had a training in Chennai, India, and my teachers, my professors were very good. So I'm expecting so much from you. Okay? Mm. Sige, you study hard. And don't cheat, you study. Okay? And if you cheat, you don't deserve to be doctors. Okay? You're just fooling yourselves. Ha? Mm. Okay. Sige. No cheating, ha?
Okay, Doc.
Okay.
Plus point to us, Doc.
Okay, sige. Be good.
Thank you, Doc.
Okay, bye-bye.
Thank
Good
you, Doc.
night.
Good night.
Okay. Bye-bye.